Today we welcome the Revd Brian Norris, known to many of you I'm sure, who was ordained priest just under 12 months ago.
August 2019.
That's right. And has been doing the locum at Yarram.
Yep.
And now at
Tambo. Which is Bruthen, Buchan and Swan Reach.
Yeah. And you're also the associate priest at the cathedral.
Yep.
Which is
maintain that connection.
Yeah, which is good. So, your journey to ordination was a long one. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, well, I suppose it began when I was 18 and I was in the parish of Urana, which is in the Diocese of Riverina. And I was talking to the rector about it there, and he said, I'll get you to talk to the bishop when he visits. And of course I sat with the bishop for half an hour and didn't say anything, so that didn't go anywhere. So then when I moved to Cooma, which was in the Diocese of Canberra, the rector there was a bit more proactive and actually got me an appointment to the bishop, and I went up the Mugger in Canberra and walked around the garden with him while he puffed his pipe, and he said, oh well, he said, we'll send you to college for a while and see how you go. So I went to St John's Morpeth, and for 3 years had a great time and loved the study and played football and all that sort of stuff. And then I was too young to be ordained, and the bishop said join the public service. So I did that and stayed for 16 years and came back to the church as a registrar in Canberra in 1983. And I've been for most of my life a registrar, either in Canberra or in Gippsland.
Yeah.
And then towards the end I was encouraged by a few people to think about picking up the ordination again, and went through that process, and the rest is history, I think. And so it's kind of a messy journey in a way, but it's not really. It's got a strong theme through it, and I always felt I was in ministry when I was a registrar anyway. And so this is kind of a culmination of that, or
So how did your being a registrar inform your priestly ministry, do you think?
Well, it's a job which requires you to be a servant, or a servant style, and to serve people and support people, and it is a pastoral thing. That's right. It's a limited interruption. It's a pastoral kind of job because you're dealing with people all the time, the clergy. You need particular kinds of support which sometimes a bishop can't give, or an archdeacon can't give, of a practical kind, and people who work in church administration would know that. But it's also attending to the details of church life, and that's extremely important. Even the minor details, like it was a bit like my sermon this morning, I suppose, be talking, just dealing with the small things, and you deal with the big things too, but strategies and budgets and things like that. But so I think that's. So,
I mean, you're in a unique position. You worked in public service, worked as a registrar, and now working in a parish. And all of those you see as servant ministry, and in your sermon, of course, talking about little things can make a difference, and little things done with love. And in the service of God. What is the role of the registry and the registrar, do you think?
Well, it's primarily there are four major functions. One is to support the bishop in his or her ministry. That's one task. The other task is sort of the parishes and the organisations, and an important role is supporting the clergy. And then there's all the secretariat type functions, synods and meetings and bishop and council. They're all four very important areas. So it is a servant type or support ministry, and very significant for the diocese, I think, too, that it be done well.
Indeed. And then you went from that into being ordained, and going to Yarram, and now
at Tambo.
What are you noticing about this way of serving?
It's
this way of doing it differently?
Interesting being on the other side. You kind of have different priorities. And
what are your priorities?
Well, it's ministry within a particular context and to particular people, and at a local level, which is different in character than, say, in the registry, where you're just dealing with a broad geographical area and a broad range of people, and you don't get time to engage with those people as much as you do with the people in the parish. You engage with them very closely, and you see it from their point of view, and am I enjoying the parish work? I think it's great, and yesterday we had a parish council meeting. That was terrific, working through the ministry in the parish, and because I hadn't had a parish council meeting for 8 months, I think.
Wow.
I thought we need to do this often, and we need to think about what we're doing here. Are we just surviving, or what are we doing? And so we're doing an outreach. We're doing Christmas carols for the community at Christmas, and we're doing similar things like that. We're encouraging the neighbourhood house locally to get the young people to do a mural for the wall of the op shop, which I don't know whether you know the op shop at Bruthen, but as you come around the corner, there's the brewery and then there's the op shop wall. So we want them to do a mural to do with the regeneration after the bushfires, because Bruthen was very affected, and the district was very affected by the bushfires. So that's something that we're involving ourselves in.
So tell me about being in Bruthen. I mean, what's it like coming to a place that's been very affected by the bushfires?
Well, it's got an interesting atmosphere. You only have to scratch the surface a little bit when you're talking to someone, and out comes all the bushfire stories, and you just listen to that. You can't do anything with that. You need to just listen, and sometimes it goes on for quite a long time, and so it has deeply affected the community. There's no doubt about that, and the people who have near misses, they're just as affected as those who lost their houses. In fact, some of them seem to be worse off than those who lost their houses, because they, I don't know, feel guilty or something. Well, one guy said, "I wish my house got burnt down, it's full of termites," I discovered. So he had a light-hearted approach to it. It's they're coming out of it, but it'll take them a long time, I think. Take them a long time. And Buchan was very affected by it, and I spent a bit of time up there talking to people. And Laurie Baker, my colleague, who doing a lot of good work up there, as well as is Kathy Turnbull from Melbourne. She's up there, although she's withdrawing a bit now. So it's quite an interesting ministry, really. Also tinged with a lot of tragedy and that sort of stuff.
So a lot of listening.
Lots of listening. Yes, you can't tell people what to do in these things. It's just they've got to work through it, and you make sure that they're getting the right sort of professional support, and in practical things like funding. Do they know where to go for funding? I mean, I don't know where they go for funding, but I know who to ask, or I know who to get them to ask, So
listening and advocacy and putting people in touch with
others. Not a lot of advocacy, but putting people in touch, certainly, and but primarily listening.
So how does the parish see its role in the area and see your role? What are they wanting at this time?
They want a pastor in the clergy who are there. They want they feel a strong need for that, and so kind of a chaplain in a way, which is fair enough. I don't think they've been missing out over the years because of the stop-start ministries and things. I mean, I'm happy I'm not another stop-start, but so, and they see themselves as a community organisation rather than a church on its own. They in the past they've run lots of community activities, and they're getting a bit older now, but they're hanging on to a few things, and they have a very community-minded spirit.
So what do you see are your priorities there?
To my role in that.
What do you see are your priorities?
My priority is to promote that community orientation. And to couple that with outreach, and when these restrictions disappear, we're going to do a letterbox drop and visiting program, and that's a high priority for me. There's some homes across the road with about 30 or 40 residents, and I want to work in there with the people there. They're just across the road, and there's lots of interesting people there, and I've done some research on that, so I'm hoping to get into there. So, and Swan Reach is a community on the way to lakes, as you know, and there's a lot of new housing there, so I want to get out into that as well. So, but we're just waiting a bit for the restrictions to calm down, because sometimes when you go to a door and knock, they sort of hang back and say, they're worried about the virus and things like that. And, so we're just doing that low key at the moment. But building up the congregations now, I mean, the numbers are growing a little, and which is good. And others have promised to come and join in, and that'll be good.
It's an exciting project.
It is a challenge. I mean, you wonder about these country parishes, what their future's going to be. And I'm working with the Archdeacon Brenda and Bishop Jeff Driver. We're going to sort of form a cluster operation and cooperate a bit. And the bishop, that was really the bishop's idea, and he's encouraging of that. What form it will take, I'm not sure, but certainly sharing the ministry and supporting each other's one of the aspects of it. But joint ministries and things like that.
So it might look like being supportive of each other and
yes, and having the parishes work together on joint projects and things like that, and that kind of thing. It's a bit airy-fairy at the moment, but there's a desire there to work together. So yeah. See, I'm not sure whether Tambo will ever have a strong minister, full-time ministry. Certainly won't have a full-time ministry again, I don't think. But whether it can afford to have a strong part-time, I'm not sure. I mean, it's financially it's much better off than other parishes, and it's also the biggest geographically in the diocese. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit of...
So you're on the road.
We're on the road a bit, yeah. So.
Yeah, that's good. So you look like you're alive.
Oh yeah, and I love it. Yeah, and my wife Kerry loves it. She manages all the music now, and does a good job at that. And so.
And Brian, you've always, again, from your sermon, that small acts of kindness making a difference. You've always been involved in small and large acts of kindness in the community.
Yes.
Your work at SES and Rotary. Tell me a little bit about some of those other ways that you engage with the community.
Yes, well, with SES, of course, we get called out to accidents, and then last Friday I had two. Last Saturday, actually, we had two. One in the middle of the day, a collision, and a suspected suicide attempt out under a bridge on the River Avon. So we got called out late at night on Saturday and had to go to Bruthen the next morning. So we more or less, that was a bit of a challenge. But we, both my wife and I are in that, and we enjoy that. It's a different form of community service, and we always need volunteers. And with Rotary, I've been in Rotary for I don't know how long now. It's been 25 years or something or other, and I'm in an E-club, and we do a lot of work in Cambodia and Vietnam, and we're trying to do stuff locally now, and I'm the incoming person to deal with that, so I'll be spending some time promoting that kind of activity in our club.
So what do you enjoy about those two forms of community service?
Oh, the camaraderie in SES, and the training and the rough and tumble of it all, I suppose, and just helping people, and it was a good team. I'm in the Stratford unit, and they're a good team out there, and Rotary, of course, have made lots of friends over the years in that, and it's a very satisfying operation to belong to.
That's great. So there's the small, the micro, and the slightly larger macro, and then in your life and your work, you've also had an opportunity to look at the bigger picture of the Anglican Church in Australia. And
yes, not always a pretty picture, but I was on the Standing Committee General Synod for 18 years, and that's the sort of the pointy end, I suppose, of the Anglican Church of Australia. And that's a body that does good work, I've got to say. People are critical of it, but it does really good work, makes things happen, and brings people together who need to be brought together, I think. And I think the Bishops' Conference probably does a better job at that, but still, the Standing Committee involves the senior lay people of the Church, and that works well, I think. Yeah, I've been on General Synod for a lot longer. That was also an experience, and good work was done there too, I've got to say, even though there were some downsides. But and I've been involved with partners and missions around Australia. Carpentaria was part of rationalising that diocese within the Diocese of North Queensland, which wasn't a happy event, but it needed to be done. I've been to Adelaide and reviewed their Registry Office a couple of times, and that sort of thing.
So there is that big oversight role. How do you see us resourcing those?
The now?
Yes, and moving into the future, those oversight, those...
No, I've always believed in a strong General Synod office myself, a much stronger General Synod office, better resource than what it is. It's really quite hampered, really, and the Primate's office is equally not well resourced, and like other provinces in the world, which are much better resourced than Australia. But I think it's a reality we just got to live with, and we rely on the goodwill of people in the diocese to sort of resource the General Synod operation and the Primate. I don't think we do too badly, but we could do a lot better.
So what do you see as the challenges for the Anglican Church of Australia and the Diocese of Gippsland?
Well, unity. I mean, unity in the faith. I mean, that's, how do we achieve that? It seemed like almost an impossible dream. I think at the administrative and management level, there's a lot of unity. Now, for example, I mean, the Diocese of Sydney, which is always portrayed as being out there from the rest of us, but at an administrative level, they're extraordinarily supportive of a little diocese like Gippsland with no strings attached. And, if I got a legal problem, I'd go to Sydney and they just give me boom, boom, boom and say, this is what it is. So thank you very much for that. It's very helpful. So at various levels, even the liturgy, I think there's not a bad level of cooperation. A whole range of other areas. So there is hope, I think. I mean, there are some major issues that just hang there, but and you think, how are they going to resolve that? And I think at the moment we've got some big issues in front of us, and I'm a bit out of touch with where that's at. But gay marriage and all that sort of stuff, which is a real challenge for unity.
Unity.
Yeah. So anyway, we shall see how it goes.
But you're not as involved with the bigger picture.
Not anymore. No.
More.
I'm quite happy to be involved at the local level now. And that's an area that.
So what are your hopes for the next few years?
For
your ministry.
For my ministry. Well, while I have health, I'd like to keep doing what I'm doing locums and things like that, and I've still got energy for that, and while there are opportunities, I will take them, and so that's what I hope. I'm doing a BTH of all things. I'm just updating myself.
Excellent.
I did a THL all those years ago and loved that. I realise that I'm a bit out of date, so I'm loving the BTH. It's just so great, and St Mark's is so good, and in sort of managing it, and so.
That's great.
I'll move along with that.
Good on you. I'm very thankful for your ministry here in Sale, and at the cathedral, and at the residential care places, and your wisdom and the way that you listen and support me and support the community. And
not doing much of that now, but now that I'm out of town. But
yes, you are.
okay.
Yeah. And so I wish you well.
Thank you very much.
And I'm thankful that you're part of the team.
Thank you very much. Is that good?
No.